Hey everybody, you're watching Conversations in Pop Culture, and I am your host, Andrew Davis. And this episode is brought to you by my very own t-shirt, which you can pick up. It's making fun of Gundam and a bunch of other things. I like Taco Bell as well, so you can go buy my shirt. It's a way to support this show and everything that I do, and I just think it's an awesome shirt, and it's available in 16 different colors. So obviously you can get any color you want for your shirt. It's on Redbubble, so there you go. But I'm not going to bore everybody with the rest of my sponsors here because I have with me legendary voice actress Dorothy Elias-Fahn, who has voiced Meryl Stryfe from Trigun, Lilymon, and Yuko Kamiya from Digimon. I probably got that wrong.
No, you got that right.
From Naruto Shippuden and Naru from Love Hina, which is one of my favorite series of all time. So welcome to the show.
Okay. Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm very excited because you've been doing this forever. For lack of a better word here, for forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long run, and it's great. I'm glad to be still working after all these years.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say how long because I don't want to date you or me for that matter. But I am curious how you got into this because you were really at the beginning of voice acting when it started coming to the US, and then you also were sort of in the industry when it became big and it started to explode.
Yeah. It's been so long. It was so long ago when we got into this that there really was nothing. It was a vast wasteland. There was nothing. There was no anime on TV. There was no Toonami. There was no Crunchyroll. There was zip. So pursuing a career as a voice actor was not even on our radar back then because it kind of didn't exist. I mean, some people did cartoons, like Saturday morning cartoons, but that was something that I don't know. We didn't envision ourselves doing that, and we didn't have agents who pursued that. So me and my husband Tom, we were actors. We were just, like stage actors, and we were pursuing commercials, on camera stuff. So the voiceover thing, there was no anime. There was Kimber the White Lion and Speed Racer. Those are the only things I knew that were cartoons from Japan. That was it. So my husband was working at a film company. I've told this story a million times. It's literally anime dropped into our laps. It was not something we pursued because we had no idea it existed. He worked at a film company and with a guy named Victor Garcia, who came in one day and said, "Tom, you're an actor, right? Right. And you, Steve, you do funny voices. You act. And Tom, your wife, she's an actress too, right? I got these this project, these cartoons from Japan, and they want to dub them into English. Would you be interested in doing that? And we're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Sounds fun. Another way to get a little acting something in. So from that moment, from that one inauspicious little, you want to do this? Yeah, okay. Et voila. Because it just snowballed after that. Because, the what we called Japanimation back then. We had no idea that anime was the actual word. That's what they told us it was. Yeah, we got this Japanimation for you to do. It was trickling in, and so they kept using us over and over for the little projects that came in, and then it started coming in more and more. So we got more and more work, and then after that, it just became a whole thing. It's like suddenly I was doing that more than anything else. So it was like, here is this thing called anime where you want to do it. Yeah, boom, go. And nobody really knew what they were doing. Go ahead.
And so to even talk about that, like, I mean, the industry was really just starting to get its roots when you dropped in. And then all of a sudden, what was that even like because you were there when it was growing in a lot of ways. And that's what I think people forget is that all the new kids who are coming into this entire sector don't know what growth looks like per se. And I obviously just had Steve Stagley on, who plays Neji from Naruto, and I've had a few others. I had Rebecca Forstad, who plays Lin Min-Mei.
Oh my God,
And so, like, all of those people are like the OGs. in this entire sector. So
yeah, fantastic. No, well, yeah, back when it started out and we all got involved and had no idea what it would actually become. I mean, who knew, right? That it was going to explode into this huge thing. Nobody knew what they were doing. We didn't know what we were doing. The engineers didn't know what they were doing. They knew how to record like original animation. You're there at your mic, you record the thing. But when you're dubbing and you have to sync to something that's already there, I don't think any of us had ever actually done that before. It was like we were basically thrown into the deep end of the pool and said, okay, start swimming. That was what it was. We were all just learning as we went along. It took a while, and there was no Pro Tools. And in the beginning, there were no beats. So it was like, okay, watch the scene once, and now we're going to record it. Okay, where do I come in? I think it was here. Okay, I'm going to start talking now. It was like the wild, wild west of recording. Craziness.
It's so interesting, and I think people don't even understand the 3 beep system, and then how privileged all the new kids are in this entire sector.
It's so easy now. It's, I mean, relatively easy. The work that we do in anime is such a skill. I mean, I don't want to say anybody can do original animation because you still have to be an actor and you still have to be able to voice act. But it's way easier when you just have a script and a mic and you just get to act. That's original animation. The skill of, being able to watch the scene in Japanese and then go in and act and fit the flaps and get the timing. It's we should be paid a lot more. Let me just tell you that. Anyway. Sorry. Yeah, it's great. It's fun. And once you learn it, you feel like, wow, this is a great thing. I could really go. I could do this. Which, yeah, I love it.
and even to talk about going, I guess, the old school way and not the easy way. Yeah. One of the ones to talk about is El Hazard and Ms. Mishtal. I think that's how you say her name.
I think sure it's Ms. Mishtal, I believe was her name. Yeah.
And so, yeah, what's the entire story behind this role? Because I like her as a character.
That's great. Yeah, she's way back in the beginning. And like I said, my memory is not like super great after all these years, especially of like the totally early stuff. But yeah, there were a lot of characters. I mean, there still are who are like these, reserved kind of, in control characters. And then they like freak out. Something happens and they like start acting totally out of character. I'm in love with this guy now. I'm going to pursue him. I'm not reserved anymore. Oh, but I am reserved. Oh, but there's that guy. It's like, okay, sure, whatever. And from the very beginning, I always got these roles that were like either the mom character or the mom type character, the gal in charge, the teacher, the whatever, which is great. I love that. I love playing that. That's my voice. I didn't have a little Sandy Fox voice. I didn't play the little chibi characters very once in a while, but usually I'm the mom. Yeah. Or the mom figure. And she was that, the priestess. She was probably the most mature of the priestesses or whatever, right? I don't know.
I mean, but what I like about her, though, is that she is mature, but she also does fall for the guy. She sort of has those moments where she gets all giddy. It's great because it's nice to see a character not be 100% perfect all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also the idea you get to act too, and it also seems real, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, even when it's a goofy character, you try to give it your all, give it 100%. Go with the character. The character believes this, so I got to believe this. So you go for it, and it helped that I think Michael Sorich played Mr. Fujisaki. I think. Oh my God, I love that guy. I still work with him today. Just he's the best.
He is so good, and he's in everything. Like I don't even know looking up his entire like credits, and I'm like, he was in all of this stuff.
Yeah.
What? It's great.
Yeah.
But El Hazard really did open up a bunch of doors, I feel, for you. Because one of the doors it opened up, I felt, was Digimon for
Um,
you.
well,
Not directly, but indirectly in a lot
yeah,
of ways.
indirectly. Well, the thing is, like I said back then, no one was pursuing this as a career. So those of us that got in, you know, by like accident or whatever, just because we were actors at the time, and you know, people needed voices for this anime stuff, that they used us all the time. You know, once we started working with uh, Magnitude 8, we worked out there with Kevin Seymour, and he used us for everything. Like every anime that came in, almost every anime that came in, he would plug us in somehow in those shows. And same with Bang Zoom. When they started out, they were working at a little studio we called the Castle, way out in Burbank. And
There's
they
like
started,
three people in that company when it first started out, right? Like
yeah,
three people.
it was Eric and Rodman and who else? I forget. Anyway, but yeah, so it started out with like a handful of us, and so we worked on like all their projects until you know, till more product starts rolling in and more people are going, oh, I want to do this now. This is a thing you can pursue. You know, we got in on the ground floor, but now everyone's like, yeah, I want to do this too.
So to even talk about Digimon though, because Digimon was one of those that is a gateway for a lot of people.
Yeah,
And I think directly or indirectly, because when Digimon came over, it wasn't anime per se. It was just another show
oh, okay.
where nobody ever, and I didn't view it as an anime when it came over. I didn't know what anime was.
Yeah.
Looking backwards, I'm like, oh, it's like Dragon Ball Z was an anime in my
Oh boy.
world
Yeah.
until I got older, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you see it on TV, you just think it's a cartoon. But, you know, for voice actors who have to dub it, oh, yeah, it's anime. It's in Japanese. So, you know. But yeah, Digimon, I'm not sure what the connection was, but we were all kind of in the same circle, this handful of us. And so we all got called in to audition for Digimon. And uh, nowadays, they usually tell you what they want you to audition for. They say you can audition for this or this, and this, you know, like that. But for Digimon, and a lot of times back then, you would go to the place and audition. They'd have all the characters laid out on a coffee table, and you would pick the ones that you wanted to audition for. So I got to do that. Um, and I think they made the right choice doing Ty's mom. And Lilymon, which also was fun because I got to do my own evolution to Rosemon. They didn't cast somebody else to do that. I got to do Rosemon too. Woo!
And even to talk about this as well, because obviously Lilymon goes into Digimon 2. I think Lilymon and some other stuff. Obviously, Lilymon has evolved into Rosemon. And then you've just been in so many different, I guess, sequels.
Yeah,
And I don't know what we call, I guess, spin offs, maybe is another fair word to use with Digimon. And
yeah,
what is that like? Because it's almost the gift that keeps on giving in a lot of ways in the anime world. And it's just
definitely.
such a big franchise, and it's such an important one too.
Yeah,
And
for
it's
so
so
many
popular.
people.
I mean, it's
I mean,
amazing.
yeah, we meet people at conventions who still say, "Oh my God, Digimon, you were my childhood," and all this stuff, and we're like, "Oh my God, that's like wonderful. I hope it was good." Um, but yeah, Digimon, I was really happy that I got to do all the different iterations of it, you know. And sometimes it was just as a one-off character in like one episode, and sometimes it was like there was Lilymon, and then there was Sunflamon and Lalamon and Lilamon, and of course Rosemon. Got to do all those, but then like me and Tom got to do this fun couple of Babamon and Gigimon, which Mary Elizabeth cast us as that, so we could do the old couple from Princess Bride. And that was one of our. We have little tiny figurines of Babamon and Digimon. Oh my God, it was so fun. That was one of the most fun. You know, they bring you in to do like some one-off creature or whatever. But I also got to keep doing. I got to keep doing Ty's mom because I was Ty's mom. So you know, I'm in there, and it was great. And it's great being involved in this huge franchise. But to be honest, you can have a completely successful anime career and not be involved in anything big. no Dragon Ball, no Digimon, no Naruto, none of those, and you can still work all the time. It's so huge now. It's like, but I feel blessed that I got to do that.
And one of the cool things is that obviously when you do get to work on cool shows like this, everybody knows it, and when you're in an ensemble cast as well. And I know that voice acting, you're typically in the booth alone.
Yeah.
Very rarely are you ever in the booth with another actor. They might throw you a little joke every once in a while that may or may not be appropriate. We're gonna leave that up the air.
Yeah, no, it's really not done. It just isn't, because then you got to worry about two people and their timing and everything at the same time. So if you're doing a take with two, I did one, oh God, what was the show with Brienne Brosey? And we were like a yin and yang little characters. And so they always recorded us together. Thank God. We both kind of knew what we were doing. So I didn't blow the take, she didn't blow the take, but it's just way easier and a time saver so they always record us one at a time. What was the question?
Oh, no. I mean, what is it like for you? Because it does have so much merit and it is remembered. And I mean, Digimon, what came out in 1999, 2000, I think it sort of hit, and it's still relevant, and there's still new stuff coming out with it, and it's bigger than it's ever been before. I mean, isn't it on Crunchyroll, I think? And isn't it a Digimon Try, or it's somewhere?
That was the other thing too. They came back with the Digimon Try movies, and so we were back for those. And I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic! I could do Digimon forever. Wouldn't that be great? That'd be awesome. And I'm married to Agumon, so that's a whole other thing. But yeah, it's amazing when you get to be involved in a show like that just goes on and on and on and on. Because a lot of them nowadays are like 8-10 episodes. One season, maybe two, and then it's done. On to the next thing. But so working on Digimon for years basically was a godsend. Thank you. Yay.
And then even as much as I love Digimon, and I can talk about Digimon all the time, obviously had a lot of people on. Jeff Nimoy is a genius. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yes.
Everybody, just I love Jeff Nimoy for so many reasons.
He's hilarious. And he was one of the writers of the Digimon movie, which was, for my part, hilarious. Oh my God. I loved doing Ty's mom in that movie. She was such a terrible cook. It's classic. That was a gift, that script. Oh my God.
Oh my God, that's another thing too. I mean, Digimon the movie, and then even Pokemon the movie. I mean, those were also big deals in America in so many ways.
And when we got cast in the thing, we thought it was just another anime, because we don't know anything about what's going on in Japan. So when it got like really huge, we were like, oh wow, okay, this is pretty great. Yeah, this is excellent. Oh, great. And Agumon, there are Agumon toys now. Wow, that's pretty amazing. I have one old Lilymon toy, this little figure. But I'm like, okay, where are all the Lilymon figures? Where are they? Why are there none? She needs a Funko Pop. Hello?
It must be so weird for you though, because obviously there are all these toys, and then obviously there's a Digimon card game. And so what is that like? Because now it's now not just an anime anymore. There's so many different components to it.
Oh, there's
and
so much merch.
Brought that character to life in so many ways for people. And they're like associating your voice with it. And then also, and I know you didn't create it per se, but in a lot of ways you added a lot of life to it.
Yeah. Well, here's something about Digimon that's not true for all anime. When the writers were writing it, when they were adapting it, they had a lot of freedom to change things. If they didn't think it was funny, or if they thought it should be something similar but not the same, they would change it. So there was a lot of freedom in the writing and in the performing. Whereas most anime that I've worked on, they try and stick as close as they can to the Japanese. They make it, colloquial. But they stick as close as possible. this one, it did, and yet it didn't. And so that was unique. It was really fun.
Yeah, no, it's classic. I mean, it's just classic anime, and it's a gateway for so many people, and it just is continuing onward. But I do want to jump out of Digimon because for the next 40 minutes talking about Digimon, and we'll spill the entire thing. You know, guys, Dumbledore dies. Dumbledore dies in it. I'm just gonna let everybody know.
Oh my god!
But I do want to talk into another franchise that I love, and that's Gundam. And I think your first role in Gundam was in War and Pocket as Al's teacher, and I think that was a very short role. But I think the real role that stole the Gundam universe was you as Nina Purpleton in 083 Stardust Memory, and brilliant anime.
I gotta say that's another one that was it's so far back that I remember very little of it, but I felt like I could relate to the character.
Top fun in space. That's all it is.
It's like, yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's Gundam. You got the Gundams, and somebody steals one, and I'm like kind of in charge, and you know, I was always the gal in charge. You could tell by the earrings that I was in charge.
It's legitly Top Gun in space. That's exactly what 083 is.
Okay.
Like you have a hotshot pilot who's Tom Cruise. You have the love interest who's Nina, and then you don't know where Val Kilmer is in this movie or anime, but there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that was again. They just cast me as this, you know, the gal in charge, right? I wasn't like, I don't know. I'm not the young character. And a lot of them are like, a lot of the anime, I'm getting away from Gundam specifically, but a lot of anime, the main characters are like these teens. You know, that's their thing. It's all about the teens and whatever. So if I'm playing the mom, you know, I come in for, you know, here and there and in the series, in this episode, that episode, whatever. But it's never all about the mom. It's just not. But yeah, luckily, you know, Purpleton was a gal in charge, and she was it. She was there. And the same thing with Meribit, you know, who was like kind of the updated version of Nina Purpleton. Yeah, gal in charge yet again. And she had an attitude sometimes. I really like that about her.
Even better. And then obviously I do want to jump out of Gundam and talk about Rurouni Kenshin, because you are you know exactly where we're going with this. So
talk to me, Andrew.
I love Kaoru. I think that's how you say her name.
Kaoru,
and,
yeah.
And I like her because she is a strong woman.
Yeah.
Who also recognizes and I guess appreciates the fact that somebody is trying to change their past and has left it behind, but also needs some help, but also provides it and sort of sees past the BS and realizes there's a path to redemption. And that's why I really like her more on a symbolic level. And it's this idea that it's just really a nice thing. And we're still talking about her character in so many ways.
I love Kaoru. I love her. You know, she runs her own dojo. She's kind of, in her own way, she's kind of a badass, you know, but Kenshin, let me just say, Richard Cancino was perfect. He was perfect as Kenshin. Oh my God. Playing against him, you know, because you go to the booth and you're one at a time. We would see each other now and then, you know, going in and out of the booth, but being able to play off him in the headphones was just like, it was a gift. Wow. Yeah. It really helps your performance if you've got a really great actor to work off in your headphones. It was amazing.
To even talk about that, because obviously you are in the booth alone. And obviously I think every voice actor, or every good voice actor, I should say, should be able to manifest the character with or without per se.
Yep.
And usually that's why you're being hired, or maybe, you know, you learn that skill early on if you haven't already developed it. But when you do have somebody who has such a great voice, I would imagine like, oh, I know the exact way how to emotionally respond.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
I mean,
that
you do it. You do it. If no one has recorded the scene before you, if you're the first one recording, you do it. You hit it. You know, you find that and you go there. But like if Richard has recorded before me, it's just God, it's way easier. It's just, you know, it just flows out of you. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant, and then obviously we're still talking about Rurouni Kenshin, and there's so much stuff. I mean, it's like a never dying anime where it's one of those animes where they did it, and then there was like a live action, and then like the manga's still in print, and people are still talking about this. People are still seeing it. I'm catching up on it. I remember watching this stuff as a kid, you know, here and there, and enjoying it. And so, what is that like? 'Cause that's another one. I'm not saying it's a Digimon level per se,
No,
but it's also very much in people's, you know, childhood.
yeah, yeah. And that's another one that went on for years to me. I mean, I guess we recorded it for a couple of years, and which is, you know, unusual nowadays. I mean, there are certain shows that I still work on that have been recording for a while, but it's so great to get on a show like that because you get these characters and you like love your character, and if you're done in 10 episodes or 8 episodes, it's kind of like, oh, okay. But if you get this long running series, you really get into the character and you like evolve with the character, and it's so wonderful to get in a long running series like that. Yeah, like Digimon and Rurouni Kenshin and Naruto even. It's terrific.
Yeah, and then we're gonna get to Naruto. We're definitely gonna get to Naruto. I promise everybody that. But I do want to talk about Trigun.
Oh my
Because
God, yeah.
friends over at you know a few places where Trigun Reanimated basically made the recommendation for me to interview you and reach out to you. So, and obviously you've done Meryl, and Meryl is a fun character. There's some funny scenes with Meryl that may or may not be appropriate in today's standard, but she is hilarious in so many ways. But I also like the fact that like Meryl throughout Trigun has massively evolved throughout the series. And so what is that like for you? Because we have her hating Vash at the beginning, and then she's learning how to understand him as she's progressing and realizing that the two of them have a very close bond.
Trigun is interesting because I tell a lot of people, you know, they always ask me, oh, what's your favorite character? And I'm like, oh, I love them all, right? And I really do. But I guess when push comes to shove, it's Meryl, even though that was so long ago, because this may sound strange, but I related to her. She seemed more like me than any other character that I had played, even all through the years, which because she's and I love the arc of her, right? Like you say, from where she starts and where she ends, there's really a lot of evolving going on there. But yeah, because she's very pragmatic, she wants to do her job, but she's also like a goof. She's goofy, and she has an attitude and just all this great stuff. So, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so me. As I'm recording it, I'm like, oh my God, this is like my perfect role ever for all time. And I felt so connected to it and connected to her arc and her relationships in the series that I felt like, why can't we go on more? Why is it ending here now? It's like, ow. We need more of this. But yeah, and in a way, to me, it felt like there was more because I was so invested in it. I was so connected to it. It felt like it was, to me, I'm like, wait a second, it was that short. It felt to me like I was so invested. It was like, it's got to be like 2-3 seasons, right? No, okay, it felt like it.
And even still, I mean, going into this as well, where I mean, Trigun just has a huge fan base. And what is that like for you? Because despite it being short, people really, really love Trigun. And there's a lot of movements for it. People really review it. as a high anime, as an anime that like they were watching on Toonami and on Adult Swim,
Yeah.
and that they view it very much saying, "Hey, this is kind of my go-to anime," and this is, and some people will come probably to a con just to see you as a voice actress because then go back down there. And I'm sure that has happened where you're a draw for them. And so, what is that like? Because it has to be somewhat weird, but also be like kind of cool at the same time.
Yeah. No, it is cool because it's amazing to me that people can love a character as much as I do, you know, that they can relate to it and get so much out of it. Because it's like, okay, I'm putting my heart and soul into this, and I hope somebody actually likes it. You never know. You put it out there and you hope it goes over. And when it does, it's just like, oh my God. Thank you for coming. I, enjoy meeting people, for whatever reason they're coming. But yeah, when it's something like that, these classic shows that they come back to, and I'm like, wow, that was 5,000 years ago. Thank you for coming and remembering.
And it's also, I would imagine, cool that people are like, "Hey, I'm still watching
Mhm.
all of, I don't want to say the old stuff, but like all the good stuff, all the old stuff from 15, 20 years ago."
Yeah,
And some of this stuff still really holds up well, both
I
in
think so too.
animation, voice acting, and I mean, I'm going to be very honest, where there's a lot of good stuff out there
Yeah.
collectively in media, not just in anime. And it's very cool where, and I'm guilty of doing it right now, where I'm watching a bunch of old stuff from like the 1990s, and it is still good. And it's kind of crazy that, and in some cases, it's better than what's currently out there in the entire anime world to some degree. So it's super interesting to me. And I
Yeah.
think Trigun sort of fits that entire, I
Well,
guess, category.
yeah, I mean, and it helps that I think it was like really well cast. I like another one that was like perfectly cast. Everyone did such a great job with their roles that had, first of all, you're dealing with a product that is great. It's just great on its own. But then you get the right actors to come in and dub it. Ah, my God, it's fantastic. And of course, there are young people who weren't even around when it first came out, so they're discovering it for the first time. Hey, yeah, thanks for coming. Yeah, I'll sign that Trigun. I could be your mother, but but thank you.
So what is that like? Because you probably get people who, I'm 29, so Trigun was just dropping when I was just getting into anime.
Yeah.
Probably a little too young for Trigun, to be very honest, but I didn't know any better. Oh, nor did my family. But then you probably have people who were 18, 19 when it was dropping,
Mhm.
and now they're in their early 30s, maybe late 30s, and
Mhm.
you have people who are maybe 16 who are like, yeah, I really enjoyed Trigun at a
Yeah.
con because
Yeah.
now it's spanning generations, and
Yeah,
that's the thing that makes it
absolutely.
so interesting.
It is spanning generations, and some people come and they bring their kids because they've gotten their kids into these shows that they loved, and so they come to the conventions, with their kids, and their kids are dressed up like your character, and you're like, wow, that's amazing. It just it proves the quality of what was done back then still holds up. The anime style may differ through the years, but overall it still totally holds up.
It's just a fantastic anime. If you haven't seen Trigun, I recommend everybody go watch it, like right now.
Hey,
After the interview is over, preferably.
not right this
Um,
second, but afterwards, yeah.
Actually, just go buy it on Amazon, buy it on Crunchyroll. Go get it legally. I'm gonna say.
Legally, thank you.
There's so many ways to get it legally too. So there's no excuse, everybody.
Yeah.
Um, but I do want to back out of Trigun too, and I do want to talk about Love Hina, and I do want to talk about Naru because I adore Naru. I thought Derek Stephen Prince was brilliant in that show too, and then
Yes.
we spoke about it while he was like walking down to his booth at a con on our phone. So it's a
Oh wow.
great interview for so
Oh
many
my
reasons.
God, have fun.
But what was this like? Because she's crazy, and I say that
Yeah,
to be very nice. Where
Naru
she's
is psycho. She's psycho. I'm sorry, she just is. Like Okay, so Meryl has all these different colors that she plays. Naru has the same colors, but like times 1,000. She like freaks out like nobody else I've ever played. It's unbelievable. Okay, I love this guy, so I'm gonna punch him to the moon. Yeah, yeah. Naru. I loved playing Naru because she was so crazy. It was. She was crazy. How else to describe her?
And one of the things about Love Hina that's just so wonderful is that it's romantic. It's a romantic comedy. It's got a little bit of an etchy feel to it, but I feel that it doesn't go over the top. And I feel that it was so well balanced, and it's also just such a wonderful cast too,
Yes.
in that regard. And it's kind of one of those things where it's just such a fun, like it's like I don't want to say it's a wholesome series because it's definitely PG-13,
Yeah,
but it
definitely.
definitely feels like a whole complete series, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because that's another one that that kind of went on for a while. It seemed like there was a lot of Love Hina Christmas special, all these, Love Hina things that happened, and that was another one that's really fun to not have this thing just end because it was like, oh, I love this cast, I love Steve Prince. I called him Steve Prince back in the day. Now he's Derek Stephen Prince. Okay, whatever. I love
He,
him.
he, he has to be cool.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh God, he's so cool that there's a t-shirt website. I don't know if it's T Public. They have a t-shirt made up of him with his face on the front with like pink glasses or something. I forget what it is. And I forwarded it to him. I'm like, you have to get this t-shirt. It's a t-shirt of you. It's crazy. I want a t-shirt of him.
I have an idea for a T-shirt of him, but I don't know if I want to say it publicly because I want to do it instead. But that's not the point.
Okay. All right.
But even going further into this role, and obviously these four women that you played, I mean, all this really happened around each other in a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things, and I'm actually very curious, what was this like? Because you were everywhere with
Yeah.
these four roles, some Digimon stuff, and a bunch of other roles as well.
Yeah.
But it was almost like you blitzed the entire market with four big roles all
Yeah.
at once within
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 years. I mean,
Yeah.
so what was that like? Because it does establish who you are, I feel,
Yeah.
in
I
certain
mean,
realms. You're like, oh, I get it, and I know this voice. They might
yeah.
not know the name per se, but they know the voice.
Yes. And and sometimes people will like, I don't know, they'll say on Twitter, "Hey, are you the voice of this? Because I think this sounds like you." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, that's me. That was from a long time ago." Uh, but yeah, there was, like I said, the talent pool was very small back then, so we got used a lot. We were in everything, and I'm talking about me and Tom and Lex Lang and Sandy Fox and Richard Cancino, just all these original people. We basically did everything, and yeah, I had done all these really great roles, like boom, 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 all at the same time, and then uh I didn't pursue it for a while after I had my daughter. And so things slowed down after that. It's like, okay, you know what? I kind of don't have time for as much of this as I used to because now I'm a real mom, not just playing one on TV. So so yeah. So I really cut back on the amount of work that I did for a long period of time, and I never stopped completely. I still did, a little here or there. And so I'm kind of at that place now still. I still work, but not to that like extreme level. There are people out there right now who are at that level right now, and they're doing a great job. So there, it's kind of the roles have evolved to like the new generation of voice actors. You know what? They're the ones who are out there just getting everything. And that's great. It's got to move on. I'm glad to still work, but I just do less.
And let's jump into Naruto as I teased, and I know I'm missing a bunch of roles, but I do want to talk about Naruto, and in particular Konan,
Mhm.
and who she is, what she does, and everything around her. Paper thin, might I say?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a given. That's a
Oh
given
God.
joke right there.
Yeah.
But what was it like being her and coming into her? Because she doesn't have a large role in Naruto, and I don't know if you call her a supporting cast or like I guess a game changer character to some degree, but
Yeah.
extremely relevant, and very important. And so
Yeah.
she's kind of cold, and there's a lot of things that she does that is significant to advancing the story in the entire pain arc. So what was this like? Because that's a big show to be on,
It
and she's also,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I was in Naruto already. I had a small role. I was playing Mabui, and they'd bring me in for like little this and that, and I would come in and do Mabui. Um, but then one day, after I think it was after I did Mabui, we still had a lot of time left in the session, and Mary Elizabeth was directing that. Also, God bless her. Thank you, Mary Elizabeth. She didn't audition me for this thing. I didn't even audition for Conan. She just said to me, "Okay, you know what? I want you to do this role. It's a new part in the show. It's Conan, and I think you'd be great. I think you'd be great as this part." So she, shows me the scene with Conan, and I'm like, "Oh my God, really? I, I've I, I've never done a character like that before." And she's like, "No, no, no, I know you can do it." I'm like, "I don't know. It seems very different from what I usually play." So she said, "No, I'm casting you as this. You're gonna do it." So it was really great. She was a stretch for me as an actor because, like I said, I'd never played anything like that before. So, we found that, and, she helped me find that place. And I'm forever grateful because now I know that I can play that. I think I had pigeonholed myself and I didn't think I should go outside my box. But guess what? Going outside the box can be really great sometimes. So yeah, that was bringing it down and bringing it inward and finding that place that was a little darker than usual. Yeah, it was wonderful. I love Conan. Another character who needs a Funko. People, hello. Anyway, sorry, I'm going off.
I got a feeling that Conan is going to get a Funko at some point.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
coming. I
It is.
mean, it's just too much money for Funko to not do it. But
Please.
going back to the voice of
Yeah.
her, I mean, there's a lot of darkness. And
Yep.
spoiler alert: Jiraiya dies and gets killed. Just letting everybody know.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, you know now.
Yeah.
And she was indirectly involved with that, and just the entire arc. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a dark arc,
It's
and then I
yeah.
mean, we have the Sasuke arc, but then the Pain arc I felt was really like the next darkest arc in Naruto in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, and it also made it real as
Yeah.
well.
And I will say it was dark. But I got to play Conan Young sometimes too, and I got to find a little lightness in her. You know what I mean? So that was also good. But once she met a bitter end, I was very sad because I'm like, oh my God, no, seriously, ugh.
But it was such a good ending though because she stood
Yeah,
up and like
yes,
she redeemed herself to some degree.
yes, but still, I was like, so sad she's gone. But then, of course, as happens, they do a game and she's back, or there's a flashback and she's back. So that was great. I didn't have to completely abandon Conan altogether. I got to come back as her for certain games and things.
So to even talk about that, because that's also very interesting. Where obviously Naruto is the gift that keeps on giving. Where there's all the video games that come out, and then there's Boruto games that come out, and then there's other games that come out, and it just keeps giving because you keep getting
Yeah,
called back to do that character. And then
yeah,
on top of that, I think you were in the Rock Lee spinoff as
Yes.
well, which is a much lighter version. And
oh my God, yes, it's like they're chibi. It was so cute.
He put it very nicely. He said it's like candy.
Yeah, it's like candy. Yeah, that was really fun. That was super fun, and what a surprise! I'm like, this is really interesting. Okay, yeah, let's do it. I never imagined that they would, do that, but it was fun. It made it fun.
That's a brilliant show in so many ways. And oh my God, everybody in that. And I think you were a bunch of other characters too, as well. And like,
yeah, I played Sakura in that too, and I don't know, a couple other, but I think it's fun. I think it would be fun to watch. If you haven't seen Rock Lee, you should watch it. It's fun. Come on, guys.
the way I describe it is that if you want to get completely hammered on Friday and you don't want to leave your bed and you just want something that's going to ease you to sleep, that's the perfect show. Whether I'm supposed to be selling Naruto or not, I don't really know if that's the correct selling point, but that's how I do it at the very least.
Why not?
And it's just absolutely brilliant in so many ways. And then there's two more things I want to talk about, and I'm gonna get the name wrong. It's Danganronpa.
Danganronpa.
I gave up before I started. I know there's like a black bear rabbit in there. I know there's like something else. Everybody's been in it, and I don't know anything about this. It just looks super trippy in so many ways. And I know you were like something in the anime. I know you were something in the video games. I know it like matched up in consistency, and then it was inconsistent. I don't know anything about this.
No, I was not in the anime. I was only in the games, and it is trippy and violent, but also fun, which is weird. It's a weird combination. But yeah, I got to play Chihiro in Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, which was a great part. Oh my God, I love Chihiro so much. And Sayaka also, who she didn't last long. She was very cute, but she didn't last long. And then I got to play Sumugi in Danganronpa V3, Killing Harmony. When killing is in the title, it's going to be some violence. So yeah, it was great fun. Great fun. When you work on a game, it's not like anime because it's more like original animation because you have your script on the screen. And they just go line by line. You record line by line. So you don't have to sync. Once in a while in a game, there'll be little scenes that you have to sync. And that's great. But for the most part, it's just acting, baby. It's just acting. and this was great.
And also, I think with games, sometimes if it's a fighting game or if you have a health bar, you might have to record the line 2 or 3 times. Not because you messed up, but because low health, super health, medium health. And, those are almost like efforts from my understanding.
Yeah. Yeah. There's they'll put out a game and you'll have like, this is the other thing. When you record anime, most of the time you have 2-hour sessions. It's recorded in 2-hour blocks. Most of the time. Games, 4 hours. 4-hour session. So you got to take care of that voice, baby. Like you with the 8 hours. Oh my God. You got to have.
For those who don't know, I this weekend I did an 8-hour recording session for a class that's launching in October, and it's not 8 hours of content. It's 8 hours because I did 2 takes to figure out which take is better. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and
it is a lot.
This show had a lot of water and a lot of tea. A lot of tea and water helped.
Yeah, I also need cough drops. I got to have that with me too. And so, but yeah, we would have a break every hour. Record for an hour, take a 5-minute break, record another hour, 5-minute break, like that. So it's not like solid 4 hours. It can be a solid 2 hours if you're recording anime, unless you're like way ahead and they're like, let's take a 10 and come back, But yeah, those games are fantastic. Love them.
Also, I'm going to just say, just because I can, the pay is a little bit better in video games.
The pay is a lot better. Okay, here's the thing. Again, original animation pays you a crap ton of money. Games pay you half a crap ton of money. And both of them are easier to do than syncing in anime, in which you get paid that much. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It's completely illogical, highly illogical, but that's the way it is.
And then obviously backing out of the games before we both get canceled for this. So let's try to get us uncanceled and talk about Sailor Moon Crystals, because that's a fun one too.
Yeah. Okay. Sailor Moon, I got to play several characters in that in recent years. Not back in the day. I was not involved in it way back then. But yeah, I played Cyprin and Patillo, these two, a red and a blue, like they're like twin evil characters. And so they sounded very similar. They just wanted one to sound like slightly older, even though they're twins. So, and that was fun. It was two things. It was really fun to be able to come into this franchise that I had never been involved in, Sailor Moon, and be able to do something. On the other hand, I felt like the outsider, like the new kid at school, you know, because everybody who's working on that show has been doing it for 1,000 years, right? And then I come in, I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Okay, you know. But I had also done On and Natsumi in different episodes of Sailor Moon. On was this alien, and she pretended to be a normal girl named Natsumi. She actually had, I think, more episodes than Cyprin and Patillo. But again, it's like, you know, I'm hanging out with you guys for a little while, doing this great thing, and then okay, bye. But it was
and even to go further into that, and maybe I'm coming in as more of a fan when I ask this question. I would imagine there are bucket list things that you get to do as an anime fan, and every voice actor has to have at least one show. They're like, I want to just work on this show because it's just a legendary anime. Sailor Moon could be that. There's a few others. So what is it sort of like that too? That you're like, oh man, even if I only get one episode, I got to work on this amazing anime that everybody in the world knows.
Yeah, that was absolutely part of it. I was thrilled to just be involved in a small way, playing these characters for like a couple episodes and these other characters for a couple episodes. You know, I mean, being a sailor, that would have been a dream come true, but they're all taken. So I get to do these little guys. But yeah, that was definitely a bucket list show to get on, to be involved with.
And then also, what were we saying?
No, go ahead.
And then I was going to dive into another bucket list that might be the future bucket list, and that's Demon Slayers, which is the last one we're going to talk about. I lied. We're not doing two. We're doing one more. I promise. We're going to Demon Slayers. I promise everybody.
Okay.
And this is like the ultimate mom role, for lack of a better word, right now.
Yeah.
and then it's Kei Kamado, I think.
Kei Kamado. Yeah.
Kei Kamado, and
another mom.
Way intense role.
Yeah.
Small role, ultra important, both in the anime, in the movie. Pretty violent role, pretty disturbing role. Really sets the tone of a lot of stuff that's going on, and definitely cool role to have.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, when I got the part, I was like, "Oh my god, yay! I get to play another mom. I'll be in Demon Slayer, woohoo!" So I go into my first session, and oh, this is great. This is great. My first session is my last session because, spoiler alert, don't listen. She gets killed in the first episode. Oh my god. I'm like, are you kidding me? Great. Well, it's nice to be in Demon Slayer. But I didn't know that, you know, she comes back in dreams and she talks to Nezuko and, you know, and there's flashbacks or whatever to, you know, her childhood. I got to sing her a lullaby, you know, so thank goodness. There was more for her to do. But yeah,
and even going into the movie too.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was like original stuff, I think, because I'm not completely versed in Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
But even the movie, I think, was one of the highest grossing anime movies of all time. It was amazing.
Well.
Yeah. I was shocked that it was rated R. I did not know that when I
Really?
saw it.
I didn't know that.
It was a rated R. Like, I'm at the movie and they're asking for my
Wow.
ID, and I'm like, why? And I'm like, oh, sir, this is a rated R movie. I mean, I'm 29, so that wasn't the
Wow.
problem. Like, I was like,
Seriously? I had no
it didn't
idea.
even occur to me. It didn't
I
occur to me.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, I had no idea. Yeah. So 90% of the time, 99% of the time, the mom's Kia's like when she's talking to Nesco or she's in a dream or something, she's her, her normal self, her caring, loving, encouraging self. But there was this weirdo moment in, I think there are two movies. Aren't there two movies? I don't know. In one of the movies, where she was like kind of evil. I don't know. God, I can't remember. But yeah, so that was different. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Ugh. Um, but and she had to learn a little song in one of the recent episodes, which was I have sung in different anime or anime movies or whatever before, but this one it was difficult because it started out like a little song with a little tune, and then it started going all over the place, and I don't know what I'm supposed to sing. Wait a minute. It was so off to me because it wasn't in 4/4 time. It didn't have a beautiful melody to follow easy. I literally had to get a piece of blank sheet music and write out the notes so that I could sing this song. Oh my God. I mean, it came out good. I think it came out fine, but that was a challenge that you don't run into very often. It's interesting.
Well, as I stated, I'm not completely versed and all caught up in Demon Slayer.
Okay.
I know what's going on. I did go see the movie in the theaters a while back. It's the
Yeah.
first movie I saw during the COVID era.
Okay.
So it was well worth it. Well
Mhm.
worth it. Super happy that I saw it. It was a packed theater, which was crazy. The whole
Wow.
entire theater was excited. Basically, you had to buy tickets in groups, so they put a
Interesting.
seat in between everybody, which was sort of cool. Unless you were
Oh,
sitting
okay.
next to your friends. It was a
Yeah.
cool idea. It was a lot of fun, but it was a packed theater even with that.
Yeah.
And it was wild. And obviously, Demon Slayer is just one of the most popular animes and mangas in the world right now.
Oh my
So
God. Yeah, I agree. Only because we didn't do anything for 2 years. We didn't go to conventions. There was nothing happening because of the pandemic. So I had not been to a convention since 2019. And then we went to our first one earlier this year, and I saw billions of Tanjiros walking around. I'm like, oh my God, they're everywhere. It's Demon Slayer on parade here. Crazy, but great. I love that it's so popular. It's fantastic.
I mean, I'm like on episode 3. I'm like the worst Demon Slayer fan out there.
That's fine.
I'm a little scared about the insect, arc. It's gonna freak me out.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna freak me out, and I'm not gonna be very happy about it. But that's a personal problem. I'm not. But I digress right there.
Nice.
Obviously, it is a great role that you have with this, and it's just a great show because
Yeah.
it's just one of the top 5 shows out there right now in the anime world.
I'm really happy to be on it.
And it's super, super interesting in so many ways. But obviously, I'm missing a bunch of your roles here, and I do want to talk briefly about the business and back out of the entire roles. And I am curious how you see the anime voice acting world evolving, and even the comm world evolving, because obviously COVID has changed things dramatically.
Oh, yeah. Well, as far as that goes, when everything shut down, the voice actors that had home booths already, just the work just kept going. They just started working from home. But a lot of us didn't have, home recording booths. So we had to play a game of catch up in order to keep working. We had to create a booth, find a closet we can use and soundproof this and get a better mic. And just, I don't know how much money I spent to get this thing going so that I could keep working in 2020 and 2021 till the studios started opening back up again, which is great. But now that all these people have these home booths, it opens up so many other markets that they can work in. You know, you can work with Texas now because you have a home booth. You can work with New York. You can work with anyone anywhere now because you have a home booth. So it opens up a whole new world of being able to do voiceover. You know, because up until the pandemic, I only did auditions from home. You know, where I did them in my closet, it was good enough for auditions, but not for working. I wasn't good enough for working. Now it is. But yeah, I only worked in studios, and a lot of us only worked in studios. There was a small percentage of people who were already doing all kinds of work with different people. So that's great. That opens up a whole new world. And there's so much content now. There is so much content. And also there are so many voice actors now. So many. So it's a good thing there's a lot of work because there are an exponentially larger pool of actors to deal with.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then obviously, I mean, I'm on the con side and of things, and I have my own opinions about that. Where I think that because this show is a direct response to the fact that everything was shut down in 2020 in March.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I noticed that a lot of podcasts started popping up because there were no conventions. How do we connect with people, right? So
first 3 months were golden. Nobody was in the space, and I was just like, I have all this skill stuff. And then what's actually happened now is that a lot of shows have actually tapered off because people have no idea how much effort goes into doing something like this. And it seems like it's easy from not even a technology standpoint, but just how do you ask a question? It sounds crazy how to build a show's format. But that's a different, complete discussion for a different day. That's my next class. That'll take me 16 hours to record, and my voice will be really hoarse. If you would like to learn how to do that, you know, you have to wait till December. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I am not going to teach podcasting. There are plenty of other people who are more qualified than me to teach that. I also like talking about money a lot more, but that's not the point. but yeah, no, it's fascinating, and obviously, I think COVID has, hate to say it this way, but COVID has had a very good, I think, situation where it has forced pruning and it has forced evolution. And obviously, I would have preferred that evolution to happen in a much more peaceful and non-destructive way. But I do think that it has evolved the voice acting world in a much better way because honestly, there's a lot of talented people in California who would do great in roles at Funimation / Crunchyroll and vice versa. So
yeah, I've even gotten to work with them a few times, and that never would have happened without the pandemic. That's probably the only good thing that's happened. Maybe not the only good thing, but one of the few good things that happened because of the pandemic.
There's a list, and also I think the other thing that's happened is that everybody has figured out how to monetize very effectively now in the con realm, and that's something that I've been pushing for a very long time, and it benefits me because now I get to play it too, and since everybody else is doing it, well, I get to do it too. So there you go on that front as well. But that's a whole different discussion for a whole different day. Obviously, that's everything that I got, and I do want to give you a chance to self-promote yourself.
Oh, hey. How you doing, guys? Yeah. No, I'm doing some stuff that I can't really promote because I can't talk about it because you never can.
So I'll ask it a different way so we don't get it and we don't have any leaks.
Okay. I will say this, though. I can say this. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes comes out on the 24th. I can plug that. Woohoo! Because I think like everybody knows I'm in it. As Mercedes yet again. Thank God. Love Mercedes. Woo! One of my favorite characters. So there's that.
Where could people bother you on social media, website, Instagram?
They can bother me, or not bother me, or just follow or bother me on Twitter at Dorothy Fahn or on Instagram at .fahn. There I am.
And also, I have your website up in the show notes for everyone who wants to check that out and all that fun stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going to keep saying it, you have to support people, your voice actors, people who are creating indie content. If somebody's at a con, you gotta go buy their merch. It's very important. If they have merch on their website or Streamily or whatever that site is called, I always get it wrong. Gotta support them there because it does help to subsidize, any industry, as well as COVID still has massive effects on everybody, and everybody's playing catch up to some degree.
Yeah.
Also, you need to tweet out at people. If you like somebody's voice in an anime, be like, great job, and send out that tweet because it actually does mean something now. And it also tells a studio, oh, you like this type of voice. They do watch it, whether they want to admit it or not. And all of a sudden, somebody has 100,000 retweets that they did a fantastic job in a show. You think a company's not going to pay attention? Of course they do. It's very important in that regard. Also, you know what it is? If you're at a con, you take a picture with the voice actor. They may or may not retweet it, but if you put it up on Twitter, they might retweet it. It's kind of cool, or might like it on Instagram. All that stuff is super important. And even beyond all that stuff, if you want to be informed on anything they're doing, Twitter, Instagram, websites, press releases, Facebook pages, that's kind of where you get your news. So I recommend everybody doing that in that realm. As far as I'm concerned, I'm very easy. Obviously, my social media is down below. It's Pop Anime Comics on Twitter, Pop Anime Comics on Instagram, Pop Anime Comics on Facebook. It's nice and simple. You can come bother me there. You can go buy my T-shirt on Redbubble. It's a Gundam T-shirt. It's Amuro Ray eating a taco, because I like tacos and I like Taco Bell and I like
I made
Amuro Ray.
tacos last night.
I love tacos. They're fantastic. I mean, It's Taco Tuesday, guys. But he's eating a taco, and the shirt is that I don't always eat tacos, but when I do, it's at Londo Bell, which is the Earth Federation in Char's counterattack. So Taco Bell, Londo Bell rhymes, kind of. So there you go. If you would like to support this show, I do have Buy Me a Coffee. It's not necessary for anybody, but obviously, if you would like to support this show, I appreciate everybody who supports it. But more importantly than money, I want to share. A share makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. So please share it, and it's free. So I really appreciate when people share it. It's like a hug, but it's virtual. A like is good too, guys. A like is good too, or a subscribe on YouTube. Makes me feel special. But enough of me selling and chilling here. I'm going to give you the final word.
Final word. Stay safe, everybody. Love one another. Peace and love, most important thing. Or love and peace. That way. And donuts.
I don't think I could have said that any better myself, everybody. So that is a wrap.
Right on.